The things that people do for love. Is it really love? Or is it obsession? Or egos running too high? Because the last time I heard is that love don't hurt. That's not what it was meant to be. Here, over in Texas, the murder trial of a Texas woman charged in the May 2022 shooting death of rising professional cyclist Anna Moore Wilson has ended with a guilty verdict and a 90-year prison sentence. It took jurors only 2 hours to convict Kathleen Armstrong of murder on Thursday and just over 3 hours to decide her sentence on Friday. Investigators said Armstrong fled the U.S. shortly after Wilson was killed and underwent plastic surgery in an attempt to evade authorities. Wilson, a Vermont native and former alpine skier at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire, was an emerging star in gravel and mountain bike riding when she was killed in a friend's apartment in Austin. She had been preparing to participate in a Texas race that she was among the favorite to win. In the hours before she was killed, Wilson went swimming and had a meal with Armstrong's boyfriend, former pro cyclist Colin Strickland, with whom Wilson had a brief romantic relationship months earlier. Investigators say Armstrong gunned down Wilson in a jealous rage, then used her sister's passport to escape the U.S. before she was tracked down and arrested at a beachside resort hotel in Costa Rica. Here is a look at what happened during the trial. There were no witnesses to the shooting or videos that placed Armstrong in the apartment when Wilson was gunned down on May 11, 2022. Prosecutors built their case on a tight web of circumstantial evidence. Strickland testified that he had to hide Wilson's phone number from Armstrong under a fake name in his phone. 2 of Armstrong's friends said she told them she wanted to or could kill Wilson. Vehicle satellite records, phone tracking data, and surveillance video from a nearby home showed Armstrong's Jeep driving around the apartment and parking in an alley shortly before Wilson was killed. Data from Armstrong's phone showed that it had been used that day to track Wilson's location via a fitness app that she used to chart her training rides. Investigators also said shell casings near Wilson's body match a gun Armstrong owned. Jurors heard the frantic emergency call from the friend who found Wilson's body, saw the gruesome police camera footage of first responders performing CPR, and heard audio from a neighbor's home surveillance system that prosecutors said captures Wilson's final screams and 3 gunshots. Wilson was shot twice in the head and once through the heart. Police interviewed Armstrong among others after Wilson was killed. The day after that interview, Armstrong sold her Jeep for more than $12,000 and headed to Costa Rica, where investigators say she had plastic surgery to change her nose and she changed her hairstyle and color. Armstrong evaded capture for 43 days as she moved around Costa Rica trying to establish herself as a yoga instructor before she was finally caught on June 29. The juror also heard about another escape attempt by Armstrong on October the 11th when she tried to flee 2 corrections officers who had escorted her to a medical appointment outside jail. Video showed Armstrong in a striped jail uniform and arm restraints running and trying to scale a fence. She was quickly recaptured and faces a separate felony escape attempt charge. Armstrong's lawyers spent only a few hours presenting her defense, and she did not testify on her own behalf. The defense accused police of a sloppy investigation that too quickly focused on Armstrong as the sole suspect, and they tried to raise doubts among jurors by suggesting someone else could have killed Wilson, asking why prosecutors so quickly dismissed Strickland as a suspect. But a police analysis testified that data tracking on Strickland's phone showed him traveling away from Wilson's apartment immediately after dropping her off and taking a phone call at a nearby his home around the time Wilson was killed. Armstrong's lawyers tried to pick at the data as unreliable and imprecise. They questioned whether someone other than Armstrong had her vehicle and phone that night. They also called an expert on forensic metallurgy to try to debunk as faulty the firearms and tools marking methods used to match the bullets to Armstrong's gun. The sentencing phase of the trial packed an emotional wallop. Caitlin Cash, the friend who found Wilson and pumped her chest 100 times in a desperate attempt to save her through CPR, said she had texted Wilson's family earlier that day with a picture of her starting a training ride. It included a message, "Your girl is in safe hands here in Austin." "I felt a lot of guilt not being able to protect her," Cash said. "I fought for her with everything I had." Cash also described Anna Wilson's mother, Curran, later coming to the apartment and lying on the bathroom floor to put herself in her daughter's final place, stroking the floor tiles and crying. Curran Wilson spoke twice, once before the sentence was delivered and again afterwards. "When you shot Mariah in the heart, you shot me in the heart. All the people who loved her pierced their ears," Curran Wilson said, looking at Armstrong as she left the witness stand. Armstrong did not appear to return her gaze. "I don't know when will humans understand that violence is never the answer to anything. It's never a solution. So your man is cheating on you. Remember, that you and the man have an arrangement, You and the person who is cheating with, and you don't have an arrangement. It's not your sister, it's not your neighbor, it's not your best friend, it's not your co-worker, it's not anyone that knows you that they could say, you know what, so we're together, and you still gonna push up yourself on him, or you still get into something with him. Sometimes the stories that men go out there and tell women, they don't have a clue that there is possibly someone else, or if they do know there is someone else, the story that they tell them is probably they are saying they are on their way out, things not going on right. There's just so much things, and at this stage, in some situation, like with this one, they were just getting into something. Probably he see her and he like her, and it's his first time saying, you know what, come let us have a meal, can I invite you to lunch? And she accepted. She don't get into the nitty gritty of knowing, yes, he's in a relationship with someone else already and all that. You don't know what is going on. Your growth should be with your man, not with the other woman. I know hell has no fury like a woman being scorned, but the thing to take note of is this: when you take out someone over a man or over a woman, just remember that when you get caught and you end up have to go to the lockup, bear this in mind. You give him free space or her free space to go through a million more if they choose to. If their style is one of being a cheater and they're not loyal to no one person, there is no way you can stop that. So what you think now? When you go to prison, he or she are going to do a prison time with you? No. They are out there enjoy themselves and go through as many more as they can. Not saying that the loss of both persons, the one who gone to prison and the one who taken out, they won't think about it and it won't hurt. But that is momentary. They move on. So when you check a sack where you're really hurting, cause see it there now, you will get 90 years of prison and so on. You tell me, probably he never comes and look for you. You understand? It cannot be natural for when a man or a woman cheat on you, you hate the person that they cheat on you with. The thinking there, it can't be natural. You can't be hating on the other person. You have to hate on the person that you have an arrangement with, the person that you dealing with. And until we change that kind of mindset, you're going to be in serious problem. You understand? Because let me tell you something. It's when a man cheat on you, you see if him determined to do it, you can't stop him. And even if you go to a road, funny thing is I remember this lady when I was growing up, and she had this man, husband. They lived together and they had 2 children together. And let me tell you this, he was a bus driver. And I swear that girl would go out there and every day should have fight off every girl that come near him or talk to him and whatever. And you know say she not leave him and him not leave she, and him still not leave none of the girl them when come fight. The most important thing what happen, you see if she come and she on the bus, guess what? He make sure message her whoever and so say she about. You understand? Or if she come in, he will tell them say go on or whatever. I never could understand it. See she hustle and bust up herself, she carry a piece of board in her bag and she beat to man and so on. Listen man, you know I remember a friend turned to me and said to me, say, the man really in a relationship, is the man really choosing, if you check it, the logic might have sound funny. You see if the man say are you, you see if the man say I know you, girl child, I just know you. You understand? So it is nice when the man say are you and you are feeling the same way, so you know say that good. But if him say I know you, he need more than you, there's nothing on this earth where you can do until when one day probably him think can stand up enough and him start lazy and just build back with you. Because a lot of men, they do the run up and down and every car that drive past them have to go drive it and so on. There's one day coming, if you are one of those who stick it out with him through all that crap, there's one day when he can't drive all of the car them no more. And guess what? Him going to calm down. You hear me telling you? So this taking out, which is becoming a very regular thing, of your rival, listen to me, it don't work in the end. Because you have feel like say you get into a relationship and you give up your life for your partner. So wait there. You don't want nothing out of life. You not achieve nothing where you don't want to lose. The only thing that you can see is jealousy. You understand? It don't make sense in the end. Anyway guys, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to my platform. Love you all.